Thank you. And I really appreciate y'all making, being flexible about moving public comment to the end. Really grateful for that, Vice Chair Johnson. Krish Gundu, co-founder and director of Texas Jail Project. I just had a few things I wanted to um, comment on today. Well, one, thank you so much for the commission staff, all their work on the guardianship rules. It's taken, I think, over a year from when I first brought the recommendation to this committee, and I know it's been a lot of work. Uh, Deputy Director Armstrong and Richard and Director Wood. Very grateful for all the work that you've done on bringing the rules to this point. As you heard from some of these stories today, the context behind bringing those guardianship rules was to make sure that people who have guardians when they're in jails are not cut off from their guardians when it comes to medical care, because that's what we were seeing in our casework over and over again, that it did not matter that you had a guardian. The guardian was never involved in medical decisions when this person was incarcerated. So I know it's taken over a year, and I'm super grateful that we've gotten to a point where we're going to get this through. I did want to recommend getting some input from, I know you all have talked about getting a lot of input from the court system, the probate court, but really the purpose of this was to make sure that people in jails who have guardians do have access to those guardians when it comes to medical decisions and medical care. So with that in mind, I would recommend that the commission staff get some input from people like Ms. Johnson, who are here actually on today's call, who does crisis intervention coordination with the jail, and other clinicians and providers who have to coordinate with the jail when their clients are in the jail. Because the people that we've talked to, it's come as a shock to them that there are no policies and protocols in place. Every other institution that houses people with guardians has a policy in place on how to get those guardians involved in their medical care. So it's a shock to people to find out that the jails have nothing, and this is the first time we're doing something like this. So my recommendation would be to get some input from clinicians to see what if people have local policies that they're utilizing in lieu of due to the lack of statewide standards and protocols. So I would love to get some input from them. The second comment I have about is that this is a reporting year, and thank you to Brian for mentioning how we should be sensitive to the fact that this is a reporting year. So I want to say something about the minutes of these meetings. And this is not a criticism of what's being produced, but just a recommendation that, and I've made this in the past, I've said this in the past, that we have brought, I think, in the last couple of years, over 25, maybe 30 public comments from directly impacted community members. And I have never seen that reflected in the minutes appropriately or accurately. There needs to be more specificity in the minutes so that, if you or somebody else or anyone misses the meeting or people want to catch up on this committee's work, we should all be able to understand what's happening by reading the minutes. And unfortunately, there is just not enough specificity in the meeting minutes. So we're losing a lot of qualitative data that could just be going into the report at the end of the year to the legislature. So we've not seen that in the last two reports. I strongly urge this committee to please include that qualitative data when you're writing your report for this year. The third thing I wanted to comment on is the intake screening. And I know we've had this conversation maybe 2 years ago at the beginning of this committee. Instead of spending, yes, we should be spending a lot of time on the intake screening form, and it does need to be revamped, but could we also not just expand the TLETS check to beyond 3 years? The IDD population is not like the SMI population. A person with IDD is not miraculously going to get cured. So I don't understand why we have this limit on checking TLETs just up to 3 years from the date of, prior to the date of incarceration. Could we not expand that to their lifetime? I think that's one question that keeps coming up in our conversations with community members, with providers, with lawmakers. So I would strongly recommend looking into that. And the last thing I wanted to say for the subcommittees, I would like to throw my name in as a subject matter expert for the jail piece of it, if there's any room in any of the subcommittees, please call on me. Thank you so much again for all the work that this committee is doing. I'm excited to see what comes out of it this year. We have only 3 more meetings to go, so I hope you all are ready to sort of put in some meaningful recommendations and treat it with the urgency that it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, Krish.